Okay, welcome to 3 o'clock or 3:01 Thursday afternoon. It's the AquaStax hour with me, Long Steve. Bit of a panic to get started today. It's been one of those very weird days. Just all sorts of odd things happening. Anyway, looks like my chatbot Tim is also announcing new followers. That's great. I think 1 or 2 people have followed me since the last stream. Actually, let's see if he stops in a minute. The display is clipped. I'm not sure why that is. It uses a hidden window to display some animations, and the window is transparent, so you can't see it. Anyway, I'm going to leave that as it is for now. I haven't got time to fiddle about and get it all going. Let's just double check that the stream's online. While I'm doing that, I can start up SlickEdit. Yeah, looks like I am online. Excellent. Ooh, bit of echo there. Right. So, Tuesday afternoon, where were we? I was trying to figure out my custom node, which renders using OpenGL, or WebGL, I should say, or the HTML5 canvas. And I actually got a little bit further than I did the other week when I completely failed to get any working code. And I managed to create a test node. And let's see what it was doing. So let's project gob task first. Is Tim even running in my chat window? I don't think he is, you know. I'm just checking my chatbot here. He doesn't seem to have joined the chat. Let's quit and start him up again. There he is. Now he's joined the chat. Excellent. Okay, so and he's beating me. Now the window is slightly positioned correctly again, so it's not clipped. Right, strange. Very, as I said earlier, weird things going on today. Right, so now we need Chrome. I may also have to cut the stream short unexpectedly today. I'm expecting a visitor, and I don't know exactly when they're going to arrive, if they even are. I might get a phone call to say they're not coming till tomorrow. Anyway, is my stream still working okay? Looks like the traffic monitor is giving me some odd results. Maybe it's okay. It's sitting there at an average of 2 megaseconds. It's about right. Okay. Do let me know if the stream is a bit crappy. Right. Here we go. A bit bigger. So my test node is currently being drawn at the same place as the falling node on the screen, probably to do with something like not setting any of the node translation properties correctly. So let's see if we can get a bit further. Well, what was I doing at the end of last stream? I was drawing this node using canvas.fillRect at 0, 0, and I was playing around with transforms by the looks of it, saving transforms. What I thought I would do, actually, I think I borrowed some of this code from an OpenGL test, but what I thought I would do was dive into the DrawNode, which probably does what I want to do. And actually, I'm going to spend a little bit of time looking at DrawNode, and I may end up borrowing much of its code, I think, because I want to learn how it works, because DrawNode, I think, is probably going to be very important, and I'm going to use that a lot. I'm only persevering with the custom node with my own rendering commands in, just for information and my own knowledge, really. Ideally, I want to be using most of the Cocos2d-JS. Oh, hi, Larry Brook, good to see you. I was just about to dive into a bit of my custom code, which I wrote last week, or custom node rendering code that I wrote in the last stream on Tuesday, I think it was. It was kind of working, but not quite. It's supposed to be drawing at 0, 0, but it's drawing a white blob anchored to the same place as the falling block is at the moment. You can see the white block there. Sorry, the blue block is drawn using my custom commands. I think this is drawn using WebGL. If I switch the rendering to using Canvas, I have to reload that manually. Yeah, so the blue block, it's anchored slightly differently. probably because Canvas rendering and WebGL rendering, one inverts the y-axis and one doesn't. But it's not drawing it at 0, 0, where I was expecting it to be drawn. Anyway, so I'm going to delve into the Cocos2d-JS DrawNode. It's not part of core. Is it core? Renderer. Where's DrawNode? Base nodes. Let's see. Scene sprites. Utils maybe? No, I can just search for DrawNode, can't I? There we are. Where is it? Cocos2d shape nodes DrawNode. Oh, it's down there, right. So, hi Larry. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what I need to do to get some custom node drawing on the screen. Are those 3 different computers or just one monitor? One with 3 computers. Sorry, one with 3 monitors. Yes, I've actually got. I've got 2 computers. I've got a PC and a Mac sitting behind there, and my left monitor is attached to the PC, and the right 2 are on my Mac at the moment. And I'm sharing the mouse and keyboard using Synergy, which is a really cool tool. Definitely look it up if you share monitors between computers. I've got the different outputs switched around at the moment. I can use the controls on the monitors to go back to having 3 on any Mac or PC. It's kind of nice. Anyway, yeah, it's really useful. Definitely Synergy. You can share monitors between, share a keyboard and mouse between two or more devices. Can you type the name of that in the chat window? Yes, it's called Synergy. Synergy. It's an open source tool. I think there are open source versions, but there is a company called Symless, Symless, I think, who sell it and support it. So you can pay a little bit of money and get a supported version for Mac, Windows, and Linux. Very, very useful indeed. Anyway, back to DrawNode. Where was I? So what happens with DrawNode is they extend CCDrawNode, and then hi, who's there? Walajahai, cool icon. I do like your icon there. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. So then they create. So there's a couple of blend function and line drawing function things. Create method, and then we've got a bunch of overrides that get added after the renderer is initialized, based on whether or not we're using Canvas or presumably down here it'll be WebGL. Yeah, here's the WebGL bit. Right. And in these commands, what do they do? Ah, yeah, so DrawNode, all of these commands that you call on it add DrawNode elements to an array, which is _buffer. And then somewhere down in the render command, I think it's going to go through all of these and draw them. John DK, good to see you, welcome. Let's just have a look at this. What does it do in the Canvas render command for DrawNode? Ah, that's going to be in the that's going to be in the special node Canvas render command file. So what does this do? So this is an immediately executed function, and it just sets up some additional overrides for the DrawNode class. So it sets a Canvas render command, and then it's changing the prototype around a bit, and it's extending DrawNode prototype with a rendering function. So this is what we discovered the other week. Rendering is what gets called by the renderer after all the node visiting has occurred and the sorting and everything else. And each node has done a load of things to decide whether or not to be redrawn. And what I need to do is probably borrow some of this code, because what it's doing here is it's setting the world transform. Okay, so world transform looks like it's probably something as part of the engine. Oh, thanks for the follow, much appreciated. We're getting the fireworks, yes we are. So we get, that's what I'm not doing in my code at the moment. I mean, I could just borrow this, but what's it doing? It's passing in wrapper scale x and scale y. go into TestNode. Let's ignore the WebGL stuff for a minute. And here's my own rendering command. I was mentioning earlier before people joined the stream, actually, I might have to dip out early today. I'm expecting a possible visit from somebody, but I don't know if they're coming today or tomorrow, so I'll know if I get a phone call or if someone turns up at the door. Anyway, let's see if we can get this working. So, TestNode, I got 2 instances of TestNode open up, right. Got some other craft up here that I probably don't need. CCboot, main. For now, we don't need grid. Right. Let's go back into here. Borrow this, set global alpha. Okay. Composite operation as well. Hopefully we won't need to do this. So the wrapper, it looks like the Cocos2d-JS code uses the term wrapper in a number of places, and it's passed in, so it's either set to the CTX, the context passed in, or what's presumably a default globally engine-defined render context. Then it sets the context variable to wrapper.getContext. I did that myself down here and used canvas. Then it sets the node, okay. Then it gets some alpha values. Well, let's not worry about the alpha values for the minute. Then it does wrapper.setTransform this._world transform. Okay, let's leave that in. Set global alpha, I was doing that before as well. Oh no, that's actually part of the code I've just copied. And context.save, it's using that as well. Canvas command, there we are. They've used context.save and restore and then commented it out. To do it can be reserve. Well, that's obviously a non-native English speaker's comment that I don't quite understand. But it probably means that the context is saved and restored elsewhere. You don't have to do it in every rendering method for every custom object that you create. So let's get rid of my own bits of code for now. This wasn't doing anything the other day. And this is going to be context. Context. Oh, we don't need that. So let's just see what this does. Is it going to just draw a block at 0, 0? Oh, it is. Wow, but it's crashed. Okay. Let me just double check it is drawing it at 0, 0. It should be drawing it at 100, 100, which is interesting. But I'm actually coding 0, 0 in there, hard coding that at the moment. Okay. So that's what's it doing? Alpha is not defined. Oh, did I leave something in? TestNode. Oh yeah, there we go. Right. Ah, there it is. My blue block. And it's drawn. Is it drawn at 0, 0? Ah, no, maybe it's drawn at 100. Doesn't look like 100, 100 to me. Oh, now it's gone missing completely. Although I think I briefly saw it flash up in the bottom left-hand corner of the grid. May have missed that on the stream because it's only running at 20 frames a second. Let's put that back to somewhere like block size. So that's adding to the game panel. What did I do there? I did some horrible accidental press of a key and it deleted lots of things, but I think we're back where we are. Ah, there it is. Ah, no, it's there, right. So, to do with, so this is to do with the offsetting and things. So how? So it looks like Y block size is actually the bottom row, and then actually X looks like it might be working, 0. There we go. So, now my block is actually in the right place. So how does CCDrawNode actually figure out? So what I want to do now is I want to borrow whatever DrawNode does to work out the exact pixel positions and how it draws things. So this is DrawNode, and it's going to go into Canvas render command. So here is rendering. So this is where it uses the buffer that it's been built. Oh, welcome. Is that DS Legends? Yes. I have to look at people's handles very carefully to read them out. So the DrawNode, all of these commands in the DrawNode, when you call something like draw, something useful here, it's not so complex as catmull rom splines. There we go, just a draw rect. So it sets up some vertices, creates a few fields, and then pushes that DrawNode element onto the buffer. And then when it gets around to rendering, it comes into here, and this just loops over all the buffers and calls draw segment or draw poly, probably depending on what it's drawing. So let's go down into draw poly. Or draw dot will do. So it sets up this transform, and it's using lock pos. What's lock pos? Is that local position? Okay. So lock. I'm looking at lock buffer, which is presumably means local buffer. Wrapper element. So it's the element. So here, lock pos is the element position, and minus lock pos y. Okay. So yeah. So because Cocos2d-JS is called. Oh, thanks very much for the follow, DS Legends, much appreciated. I'm just trying to figure out. So Cocos2d-JS's coordinate system is bottom left 0, 0, but Canvas coordinate system, I'm just going to confirm this by googling it, I think is 0, 0 top left. HTML5 Canvas top left. I guess it's going to be, how do I position relative absolute positioning? If anyone knows that top left on a canvas is 0, 0, just say. I'm pretty sure it is. I can tell you what we can try actually. If I don't do this world transform, setting 0, 0 should give me a rectangle in the top left hand corner of the screen. No, it's still doing that, isn't it? It's obviously, there's obviously a transform on the context that needs to be cleared somehow. Let's not worry about that. If I just do the thing that DrawNode does, which, Canvas, which is use minus y. That's it. So 0, 0. It's not minus y though, is it? It's going to be. Let's see where draw. It's not just going to be minus y. Because that's going to be 0. I mean, if I put down, what do I want? I'm looking at the node. I could do node.x and node.y. Let's just see what happens if I do this. Nothing there, yeah. If I do minus node.y, it puts it there. How is that working there? It must be, if it's 0, 0. Of course, it's not actually 0, 0, is it? Because it's relative to the game panel. Maybe it is. Actually, no, it's not working. If I put 0, 0, because minus 0 and 0 are the same thing, put 1 in there. Yeah, it appears there. It's definitely not translate. It's not the matrix transform isn't doing the right thing with the y coordinates. by the looks of it. And I'm expecting scale Y at this point to be negative. I wonder if it is. Let's debug that. TestNode. Oh, are we even getting in here? Yeah, it's broken, I should say. Scale Y 0.4, 0.4. In the context, yeah. Offset Y minus 0. What's the world transform? This underscore world transform. So that's 610, 1. 610 is probably going to be the amount of space off the side of the screen. Ah, welcome, no Praz. Good to see you. Yeah. So it's just about appearing on the bottom left there. But if I put it in as at block size, it appeared an additional block up. Yeah, it appears one block up. Why is that then? Say block size divided by 2. That's weird. That looks like there's a scale factor of a half that's, it's out, the scale factor is out by a half somewhere around here, but I don't understand why. This could take a while to figure out. I wonder what I was going to do, and I thought about this before, was just nick most of the code from DrawNode, rip out all the specialist batch rendering stuff, and just see if I can use both the DrawNode canvas renderer and the DrawNode WebGL renderer. I think there's probably more that I'm not doing in my TestNode. So I borrowed this from some code that was only meant for WebGL, and I'm going to end up missing something out. What I might do is just ditch the TestNode code for now and borrow from DrawNode. So hopefully making my own DrawNode will give me some insight into how it works. Right. So how much am I going to copy and paste? I kind of want to get rid of that, but I want to keep bits of it. I want to keep that square and triangle buffer code, I think. So let's start again. I'm going to start from scratch. Hopefully by the end of this stream, I'll know a bit more about it. Then I'll also know how to use DrawNode properly in rendering the things I actually want to render in my game. Why? Well, that's a very complicated name to go. Cocos2d-93. Cocos2d-93. Cool. Back at university, the IDs the sysadmin used to assign to us were all initials and then the year that you started. So back then I was SL92, and most people had 3 initials because they had middle names as well. So other people were like SJW92 and things like that. But I was just 2, just SL92, which is cool. DrawNode. So I'm nicking. Let's not bother with some of these color things for now. They're special DrawNode bits. So we're literally just going to do that. Empty object. Okay, and now I'm going to use the same patterns to fill out the TestNode code. New aq.testnode. Okay, now we're going to use this. I presume this is because the stuff isn't relevant until after the renderer has initialized. And then we extend the DrawNode prototype with a constructor function, local bounding box functions, and other stuff. Right. But I'm just going to pinch. So we've cc._draw. So this is DrawNode element. I don't need to worry about that. What I need to do is extend AquaTestNode prototype. Of course, I'm going to spend the next however many months, year probably, writing this code, get it all finished, and then Cocos2d-JS will be enhanced to support ES6 and future versions of ECMAScript and Node, the JavaScript standards. So all of this class extension stuff will become completely obsolete just after I've figured out exactly how it all works. So TestNode canvas for now. Lens, this is probably some documentation comments that I don't really need to worry about. DrawNode, this constructor, yep. CCNode prototype call, okay, and then we've got local command buffer business. We're not caring about the local bounding box. What does the init method do? Direct. Actually, init method doesn't do anything because there isn't one, but I will pinch the render type equals WebGL code. Right. Ooh, no more throw. Good to see it. So I'm gonna make sure I get the right brackets closing. Goes there. There's that. That. Close the function, and it's that as well. And down inside the WebGL, we do cc extend DrawNode prototype with a bunch of extra stuff. The constructor, this has an init, which it gets called. So don't need those. I will actually want some bits of this in my WebGL. I'm going to want square vertex buffer, position buffer and color buffer, aren't I? Yeah. If I'm doing the same thing as I'm currently doing, let's just put those in there. I might call them underscore for now. Square vertex color, square vertex buffer, position buffer. Dirty false, TestNode, WebGL. Not sure if I need dirty or not. So this again calls the node prototype constructor buffer, and calls init, which calls node prototype init, and then it sets up a shader program, length, texture, color. We're probably going to want that. Visual capacity, triangle, we'll do the creation stuff later. So that calls this.init, but there isn't one. I bet there's a in node canvas render command somewhere. This will add an init function, won't it? Nope. Maybe init is probably part of node. Yeah, that'll be what it is. Right. So that's my basic TestNode class. Now let's just focus on the canvas bit and pinch some of this. And we'll modify the rendering function. I'm not going to make a separate class file, I'm just going to do it down here for now. So it's AquaTestNode. Renderable object cc.node.canvas render command. So that's calling that on the node class. And then we've got these things. So it sets buffer. We haven't got buffer. We haven't got draw color and draw blend function. But I think need draw comes out of somewhere else. I didn't see need draw in here earlier. No, we'll leave that like it is. Okay. So TestNode canvas render command prototype is a new node render command. Okay, so it's duplicating that. Then it's setting the constructor to, well, I want to set the constructor to my own canvas render command. AquaTestNode, and that's defined there. Then we're adding a get local bounding box function to it. I probably don't need that. Now we're extending it with some additional functions, which include rendering. Right. That's the end of that. And this is the bottom of the immediately invoked function. There, right. So, yep, we're extending that. So let's go back to what I wanted to do. So obviously this is going to do its all the stuff that DrawNode does, but I don't want to do any of that. I just want to, for now, draw a square. So I'm going to borrow this bit of code here. So let's see what's broken now. Ooh, nothing's broken, and it's actually still running. It's not doing anything yet, and it's not drawing my node anymore. Is it actually coming in and drawing, coming into this function at all? So TestNode rendering. No, it's not getting in here. So I've probably missed something which initializes the DrawNode, the node with the right here we go. We've got create render command. That, I think, is what needs to be overridden inside here. Where's that done? That's part of, it's within each of the GL sections. We're adding create render command to the node prototype. So in this one, we want to do create render command, and we're returning a somewhere down here, isn't it? The canvas render command, aq.testnode.canvas render command, right. And then this one is going to do the same, but return the WebGL render command. Canvas render command. There isn't a WebGL render command yet, but we're not going to hit that bit of code for a minute or two. So is it being called from somewhere? Create render command. Canvas. Is this even coming in? Let's just make sure the code's running. Nope, it's not. cc.game add event listener ccgame event renderer initiated. Oh, why is this not being triggered then? Maybe I don't need cc.game. Do I need aq.game, my own class? No, I shouldn't think so. See, inside DrawNode, this is going to get triggered, isn't it? Oh, hi. I was about to say the guy's name and it disappeared. Somebody coming in rather quickly, and then going again. Oh yeah, I'm looking for this bit of code here to get in run when the system initializes. There we are. So we're out of dispatch event init renderer. Okay, so init renderer is part of CC boot, and it calls, well, it dispatches event renderer initted, which comes in here. That's what I'd expect. I wonder, can you add multiple event listeners? Maybe you can't. It's rather awkward, isn't it? I thought you could. I thought you could just add multiple things to event listeners, or multiple event listeners for the same event. Dispatch event, yeah, dispatch event runs in a loop, and it's got 10 different listeners. Let's check that the where's my oh, we've not even hit my code yet. That's interesting. I expect this is only relevant into the internal initialization of the Cocos2d-JS. We actually don't care inside TestNode when this bit of code runs. It's going to already have initialized. Let me just find that. I will need to find TestNode. Where is it? Keep going. So there, what happens if I reload? So that's triggered first. And that bit of code is triggered, but it's probably it sets up the event handler after the event's already fired, so we don't actually need it. Where am I going? I could actually just do nick that. What I'm going to do is stick it in here. Oh, hi Hamza 1039. Yeah, that's a breakpoint there. Ah, right, and we've got a red block in the bottom corner. That's good, I think. Okay, so it's probably red because I'm not setting the color. Let's just pinch my bit of code here. And we're setting it at node, minus node y. What position was I setting it at? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Test node. Here we go. Ah, so we're still setting it at over 2. Ah, welcome by rate. Cool icon. I'm a little bit confused because I'm expecting my node to be in a certain place and it's not. See, now it's disappeared. And if I put it in at block size, it appears at 2 blocks off the bottom. So I wonder if I'm doing the right, let's just try a draw node and see what it does. Test node var draw node equal new. We've got to use cc.DrawNode create, haven't we? Deprecated, please use new CCDrawNode. Okay, cool. Actually, that means I don't need my create function, doesn't it? Yeah. So, new CCDrawNode, DrawNode dot fillRect, drawRect 00. Oh, it's origin cc.p 00. Destination, block size. I think drawRect comes with origin, destination, fill color, and line width. Welcome, Barisic. Yeah, Barisic. Cool. Don't forget, if anybody follows me, you get some fireworks on the screen as well. No one's rated me for a while either. If you fancy giving me a rating, just type !rate in the chat window as well, with a number between 0 and 100. I need to make some additional features to my chatbot so that it offers you some incentives to do some rating. Anyway, I was about to go for fill color, wasn't I? Aha, !rate and 100 with a space before it. So it's rather syntax specific, I'm afraid. Well, thanks for trying. Yay! Much appreciated. Get some rating. What was I going to do? Change the color. Black. Can I do that? Black. Nope. Let's CC.color.white. I can just do cc.color.rgba, can't I? Yeah. And on top, actually, I'll do a bit of transparency. Should be pinky in color. Draw it in the same place. See what this does. So there's my pink draw node, and that's looking like it's more like in the right place. So I want it at 0, 0. And there it is in the bottom left. Right. So how is my test node different from that draw node when I just nicked all the same code? Must be something I'm not doing right to set those transforms or something. So this is a test draw node, and it's at 0, 0. But my test node, when drawn at 0, 0, isn't in the same place. It's actually off. It's the Y offset. So let's see what draw node does. When you call drawRect, it sets vertices at the origin, which in my case is 0, 0. Yep. Origin, destination X, origin Y. So I'm just going to create a new file. New blank file. 25 years of experience. Impressive. Started at 12. I started at, how old was I when I started? No, 25 years ago I was 17. Yeah. 17 years ago, 25. I don't, was I 19? I can't even quite remember. 25 is a little bit of an exaggeration. I was only programming on a Sinclair Spectrum back then. I only started learning to program for real and being taught to do it when I went to university at 19. So that was a couple of years later. And then since 21, so that'd be, yeah, 21 was 21 years ago actually. I've been programming for more than half my life. I had jobs in the industry since then. But I'm still pretty trial and error. I mean, you just keep going, you just keep coding and coding, and you learn stuff all the time. And I'm learning Cocos2d version 3 now. I thought I knew it, but I didn't. I only knew version 2. Version 3 radically changed a whole load of their rendering commands and the rendering architecture of the system. And you kind of forget things as you go along. I've programmed in JavaScript for quite a while now, so I'm pretty comfortable with that. But I've done many years of Java and C++ and C, some obscure languages that you can only get when you work at IBM as well, where I used to, like OS 390 or System 390 assembly language and PLX and PL1. I've totally forgotten most of those now. But JavaScript is still pretty fresh in my mind. So origin, destination X and Y. I was after destination x, so origin is going to be 0, 0, destination x, origin y is going to be on the base of the square to the right. Hope you didn't work on IBM Watson. No, I wasn't around. I worked on IBM 1996, I think it was, to 2001, something like that. Yeah. Worked on a lot of the mainframe transaction processing stuff. It was, quite interesting. Great program to work for. Sorry, great company to work for when you're young. Learned a lot. Very supportive they were too. Anyway. No, I didn't work on Watson. Where was I? Destination. That's so bottom left, bottom right. That's going to be top left. No, that's going to be top right, isn't it? Yeah, top right. Origin x, that's going to be top left. So it's like that winding order. I guess I just need to. Then it pushes it onto the buffer. And I know down in render command, it draws it using, let's see, we could try a draw dot. I mean, it does invert the Y position of a dot. What about a segment or a polygon? What does it do with the polygon? First point, it just inverts everything where it draws it, which is what I'm doing. I'm just calling minus node y, but it's not minus node y, it's actually going to need to be it's really hard to think how the positioning of a block is going to need to be. And if I break into DrawNode in node CCDrawNode canvas render command, where's that? CC shape. I might just be able to see exactly where what the numbers are getting transformed into. Let's see, what time are we? 3:48. So we're getting somewhere, but not in any great hurry. But that's how it goes sometimes. You just spend days staring at the same bit of code, trying to figure out how it works. I want Cocos2d. I want frameworks, HTML5 Cocos2d shape nodes. And I want there, and I want drawRect. Actually, it's not drawRect. DrawRect is going to come down into drawPoly. So it's going to come down, and I've got a bunch of other draw nodes as well going on here, so I'm probably going to get a whole load of different debug breakpoints. Yeah, let's see. Using lines. Okay, so it's drawing the polygon using the line2 method. And it's got these local vertices. 0, 0. Yeah, so here we're drawing a lot of, I think we're probably drawing a lot of grid stuff. Maybe if I just comment out most of this stuff, if I don't add these to the, we've got game panel. If I don't add a block, and let's not even bother adding the grid, then we should get far fewer nodes being drawn. Right. Just check what's going on. There we go. Now we just got our 2 nodes. So if I breakpoint into here, what are we drawing? We're drawing 4 vertices, 0, 0, 50, 0. So this is my block. This is my draw node that I put in for testing purposes. 50, 50. So it's definitely drawing at positive y values. It's literally what it's passing into the line2 functions. Although it's passing negative y values in. So it's going to be drawing at -50. So that's interesting. That's what I was expecting. So what's my test node doing then? Test node when it gets down here. Ah, am I not? No, I'm not doing -y on that point, am I? Or am I? Fill rector's width and height, isn't it? Yeah. Almost had a brainwave there, not quite. Oh, couldn't get position of null. What's it doing? Oh, it's getting confused by move block now. Let's just ditch the update command entirely. So here, node.x is should be 0, 0. It's going to be x 0 and y is 50. Okay, so it's going to draw it at -y. Interesting, it's not breaking into my test node. I wonder if it's probably to do with the _dirty. If it's not set to false, it's not going to draw it every time, is it? Yeah, so that's correct. But it's still drawing it up there. Oh no, that's right. That's actually where it's drawing it. If I set it to 0, what's it going to do? I'm going to discover that the stuff is working all the time anyway. I didn't realize. That's interesting. Now let's just change the blue. Probably, why is that blue? I'm very confused now. There's my grid. There's a white block. Let's make it green. That white block is part of my grid, which I don't want it to draw at the moment, really. Grid pos highlight, let's get rid of that. So it's definitely coming into the code because it's setting the color. Right. Oh, context. Oh, I love typos. After you spend a certain amount of time on a particular project, some of the typos become quite funny. I worked on a battleship game, one of the EA battleship games they released on iPhone and iOS and iPad as well. And of course, battleship is very easily mistyped as battleshit, and typed that so many times. Apologies for the swearing there, but it was just so funny. Every time I did it, I don't know why, because P and T aren't even close on the keyboard, but my brain was just reeling off the profane version of the game name. It was a good game actually, and enjoyed coding it, and it turned out pretty well. But battleship is always fun. I have to try and think of a few other ones. So I'm not getting anything. It's not getting this node in the right place. what I want to do, is it still going wrong in terms of positioning by any scale factor? Let me just see what's going on there. If I put hi Sashape, good to see it. Block size. No, it's still, if I put 2 times block size, it's 4 blocks off the bottom. There's definitely a scale going wrong with that block, with that size, that Y value, or that size value that's going in. How is that getting scaled to the wrong place? If I rapid.set transform, I wonder if I can set an identity transform so that it's basically not. If I open this up full screen, it should also not be scaled. I'm not sure if I can do that. I had a full screen button a long time ago, but it's been commented out since then. No, it's not related to the scale of the window. If I borrow the DrawNode line 2 functions, what do they do? All of that just sets up colors and context business. Close path, fill, and yes. I'm going to just do this by hand and see what's going on. Move to first point, which is going to be 0. Or actually, it's going to be node.x minus node.y. Then I'm going to line 2 destination x. Fill rectangle color. Destination x, origin y is the next one. So destination x is it's going to be, I need to borrow this, don't I? Minus node.y. Then the next one is going to be line 2 it's going to be node.x plus that, right? Node.y. Then it's going to be node.x plus, oh, welcome Humptai. Node.x plus that, node.y minus node.y plus that. Then the next one's going to be just node.x. And the last one's going to be, well, actually we only have 3 of them, we can close the path and fill it. See what that does. So that draws it up there still. If I don't fill it, just out of interest, it should be a outline box. Oh, I can't see it. It's overridden by if there's a line width, I think one can have, yeah, line width. So this is using scale X, just out of interest. Still not right. Context not close path. It's not. I need to stroke. That's what I need to do. I think. There it is. Just about make out the thing down there. So, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, which is. Let's go back to here. Let's put it at 0, 0. Okay, so there it is in the right place. So it's definitely this fill rect that's going wrong. And why is fill rect going wrong? I noticed a lot of game developers don't concentrate on Linux. Have I ever made any games for Linux before? Good question. I haven't. Basically, for commercial reasons, I imagine most developers put Linux at a low priority. I've concentrated on mobile for the last 15 odd years, so I've done old mobile phones using Java, and then iOS and Android pretty much predominantly. And then if we've done any web games, JavaScript games for Facebook or something like that, we did a few Flash games and HTML5. That they would have worked on Linux, but we didn't target Linux as a native platform. One of the things Cocos2d-X and Cocos2d-JS is really good at is multi-platform builds. And these days, if you're using Unity or Unreal Engine, Linux builds aren't that difficult, but I think it's just a case of logistics. Supporting a Linux version is quite difficult when you've got so many different versions of Linux and renderers and support for different graphics cards and open source and closed source drivers and all that kind of stuff. I imagine it can be quite complicated. If you're a small team especially, you haven't got the time for it. If you're a big team, you probably look at the numbers and go, it's not worth it. That's kind of like why I like the web. I think web games and doing stuff on the web, especially with WebGL, is definitely, you can get a lot of much bigger audience and you don't alienate anybody in particular. That's just my personal feeling. Good question, though. Hi, Minisi. Good to see you. So I was just about to figure out why my fill rect was in the wrong place. Let's just have a look at the documentation for fill rect. If I figure this out, that might be a good point to end the stream. Because actually what I've done isn't wrong. At least I'm copying DrawNode isn't wrong. It's kind of doing what I want. I just need to know how to do something like fill rect. What I want to know is how the coordinates of the node, what their settings are, whether or not this wrapper.setTransform is all I need to do, or whether you have to take into account the scale factor. Let's see, let's go back and look at the docs for fill rect. HTML5, canvas, fill rect. It is x and y width and height, that's all it is. So x and y is the x coordinate of the upper left corner of the rectangle. Of course it is. I've been talking to myself about coordinate systems for canvas being top left. Excellent. Another rating. Thank you very much. Just as I figure out why my rectangle is in the wrong place, it's because the coordinate system is 0, 0 top left. So the coordinates for fill rect are going to be top left, aren't they? So it's going to have to be minus y minus the height. So really all I needed to do was this. Is it going to be plus the height? It's just shifted up, isn't it? It's just plus the height for now. Nope. minus y. Is it going to be that? I'm just going to play by trial and error, see if I get it right. There it is. Right. And what I could do is use node.width and node.height, and make sure that is node.height, and set my test node to be grid size. So right, we're still there, 0, 0. Now if I put it at 1 block high, it's 2 blocks high. So I guess it's not quite what I had in what I coded here. It's top left. If my coordinate is bottom left of the node, and I want top left of the node, what do? I need node.height. It's minus node.height, isn't it? Because we also the coordinates are the wrong way. So that's 0, 0. No, it's still wrong. What am I doing? I want the top left of the rectangle. Going to shift it up, isn't it? I'm trying to think in two different coordinate systems. Minus y or minus node.y should give us the position of the bottom left because the coordinates passed enough from the Cocos2d-JS, and then if we add a height to it, that'll get us further up the screen. It looks like it has. All I want to do is then actually, no, that's bottom left, isn't it? That's wrong. Minus node y minus height? Or is it relative to the parent height? See, that works. But I don't think it's going to work if I set it to the next block up. See, it's still doing that. Why is it doing that? Hi, Coda? Coda? C-O-D-D-R. Cool. Could it be the scale that I'm passing in? See, that's not doing anything with scale. Ah, glad I pronounced it correctly. I'm still trying to get this block in the right blooming place. It should be 1 block up. What am I? Let's breakpoint in there and see what's going on. Okay, I was running a command. I want to go into TestNode. Oh, actually, yeah, I want to figure out why it only gets called once as well, but I think that's probably to do with the dirty values. So node.x, actually what I can do is I'm just guessing here, of course. I'm trying to figure out in my brain and talk at the same time and watch the chat window. It's all getting a bit much for my old brain. But we're almost there. I just want to finish this up before the end of the day. My doorbell's not rung yet, so I don't expect my guest will arrive today. So no X and Y width and height. That's kind of what I expected. But what we want, and if we draw, I'm just going to draw it at 0. Let's just draw for a few test rectangles and see what happens. Let's just draw context.fillRect 0, 0, width and height. Let's try 0. See, 0, 0 width and height. I'm expecting to be not see that. Yeah, I'm mixing. I'm in an attempt to understand how the Cocos2d-JS rendering works. I've kind of taken the code from DrawNode, and the CCDrawNode is a built-in Cocos2d-JS class which allows you to do lots of primitive drawing like rectangles, lines, triangles, circles, Bezier curves. It has all sorts of other useful things in it, splines, dots, and things, segments and arcs, polygons. But the way the new renderer in Cocos2d-JS v3 works is that it separates out the rendering from the node, and also they've implemented, or the developers have used, 2 separate renderers. They have a canvas renderer, which is what I'm looking at the moment, and a WebGL renderer. I'm using the canvas renderer because the actual canvas rendering commands are a bit easier to understand. If you look at draw poly and fill rect and draw rect and so on, it's quite straightforward. Whereas inside the WebGL code, they do lots of matrix manipulation. Let's just jump into here. It's actually quite simple, but it's I'll try and find the render command in a bit. I looked at some OpenGL stuff. Here we go. So the raw OpenGL rendering commands for rendering similar things are a bit more complex and less easy to understand. So I'm trying to understand it. In the end of the day, I probably won't use it, but it's always handy to know how the framework or the engine you're using works under the covers. Anyway, where was I? Back to my test node. I'm just putting out some. So I've definitely got the right transformation for the node positioning. 0, 0 gives me the bottom left. If I draw a dot at 0, 0, that should give me the bottom left of the square. Canvas render command. What does draw dot do? So it draws a little arc, doesn't it? I'll borrow that. Test node. Begin path arc lock pause. Just make sure I don't fiddle with anything. No, it's just the vertex. So if I do nx minus ny radius, radius 360. I can't remember if it's degrees or radians. It's probably radians. I quickly didn't understand JavaScript, so I think yeah, there's plenty of libraries you can pick. Cocos2d-JS is actually quite a complex one. It's got a lot of function in it. There are probably simpler ones if you just want to do 2D games with less complex things going on. It is completely standalone though, which is good. Right. I heard somebody at the door then. I'm just going to disappear off for a moment and just check who it was. Back shortly. Don't go anywhere. Going to Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Just checking who was at the door. It was my wife, who I was expecting. So we're just going to draw a dot. See if anything happens. May I ask how young you are? Yes, I'm 42 years old. I don't look it, do I? So that didn't do anything. Why is my arc drawing not worked? Oh, I keep changing the variable names. You did look older than the average person. They are, yes. There we go. Right. Let's correct on that. Just put it somewhere. I bet draw arc is actually using lock radius. Where does lock radius come from? Element.line width, radius 360, 0. Oh, that's the line width, isn't it? Yeah, 360. It's not the radius. I just want like 5 or something, I think. Nope. Don't have any circles yet. NX, NY, 50. Correct. Canvas reference. Canvas.draw arc. What are the premises of arc? X and Y radius, starting angle, ending angle in radians, 2 pi, and counterclockwise. Whether the drawing should be counterclockwise or clockwise. I wonder if that makes a difference. Oh yeah, of course it does. If it's not a full circle, it'll make a difference. So why is that not? Why am I not getting something drawn there? Set the color. Set the nope, still no arc going on here. So the fill rect is definitely putting something in. There it is, it's green. But the arc isn't. Why is it not? Begin path, arc, close. Oh, you've got to fill after it. You draw the path, then you do a fill or a stroke in order to decide whether you want a filled thing or just an outline thing. Right. There it is. There's a little blob. Right. So if I set that to game, so here we are, y at 0, 0. It's down at the bottom left. Yeah, what I was expecting. Now I want to set it to 1 block size high. But it's up there. So that's interesting. Why is that like that then? Why does the positioning for that, if I don't negate the y value, it's still 0, 0, of course. Is it? No, it shouldn't be 0, 0. If I move it up the screen by another block size, still there. Very unusual. See, now it's moving up. How high is the node that I'm drawing? Do I want node height minus node y? Yes, I am the original programmer of AquaStax. I wrote it 11 odd years ago, I think about 11 years ago, yeah. In Java, using J2ME. If you look at the live coding TV page, you'll see a little animated GIF of the original. I think if you search for YouTube, there's an animated GIF of it on there, or there's an animation of it on there. You may even have played it on an old mobile phone many years ago, and I'm rewriting it, or I'm remaking it for the modern day. What's going on there now? Now we're better. Yeah, because what I'm trying to do is invert the coordinates, but we're in the node space, and if I change this back to 0, 0, it disappeared. No. See, that's almost the right. Is it the bottom left or is it the top left? Oh, awesome. Somebody who actually knows the original game. Awesome. Really pleased you may remember it. If you had an old Java phone, Sony Ericsson or a Nokia, something like that, you may have downloaded it or bought it back in the day. You can still find it if you've got an old phone, but getting stuff onto those old phones is pretty hard these days. Anyway, what I've got at the moment doesn't really look much like AquaStax. Hi, Odevan, good to see it. I had some blocks dropping a couple of streams ago. If you look back, I had some blocks dropping down. They were definitely looking a bit like AquaStax. Then I got sidetracked into doing what I'm doing now, which is trying to figure out how the rendering works. So I've definitely got, it's moving up the screen. My block is moving up the screen. I wonder if it's a case of, if it's top left. I got an old phone of my dad. Yes, yeah, I think actually that happened the other way around with me. I gave my dad one of my old phones. What am I looking at? TestNode. It's not going to be node height minus ny minus node height, is it? NH. I should call it NH. Yeah. Ooh, a couple of new people arriving. Hi, how you doing? I'm trying to finish up fairly soon and get my block rendering appearing in the right place. Now that's not doing it. It's going to be plus. If I'm going down the screen. So what I want to get is the bottom left position. Game. So if I do 0, no, it's disappeared off completely again. I need to figure out how I can, it's not, I'm so close to getting what I want, and it's difficult to describe how it works. I need to draw some diagrams for myself, and just get a little bit deeper into the translation or the transformation from there's world space, which I guess is overall positioning within the screen area, or the canvas itself, because these numbers I'm passing into context are actually like in the canvas area space. Then there's Cocos2d-JS node space, which is different. All I want to do is get the transformation. I wonder if there's some, I bet there's some underlying utility functions somewhere which translate these correctly. You'd think it would be used in here, but it doesn't. See, what about if I just look at draw line? What does it do? It's just using vertexes, isn't it? Right. It's node height. See, minus ny gives me something, but it's not quite what I'm expecting. Oh, thank you very much for the follow. Much appreciated. Sorry, it's not been too interesting today. I've just been floundering around again. I've gotten a little bit closer to where I was, or where I want to be, but still not quite there. Hopefully, maybe for the next stream. We will. Oh, hi, ID 46305919. I think I've seen you before. I recognise your handle, although it might be a different number. It might not be the same number. Let's see. Is it node? I've tried node height minus node y, haven't I? See, that could be the top left coordinate. But it's also the bottom left of the next one. See that now? We're definitely moving up too fast here. Definitely a scale that's not quite the right goings on. Minus node height. That's totally wrong. I'm going to call it a day. It's an hour and a half on the stream. 4:30 now. Going to have another closer look at this a bit later on by myself, because I'm not being particularly interesting sitting here just randomly trying different values of TestNode.y and fiddling around with the maths. I will commit the code. If anybody wants to have a look at it, you're more than welcome to. I'll add a couple of comments, I think. Let's see. Test out where I think the position should be. The position of the node should be by drawing a dot. And this is the line code taken from CCDrawNode, which does work. Draws the polygon in the correct place. So it does do that. So that bit of code works. We just have to figure out where that. I'm just looking down there at this bit of code here, seeing if it's what I want. Might be. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. See, that should only be, I'm expecting that to be sort of down there somewhere, but it's not. It's twice as far away. I wonder what NX does out of interest. Let's put the X in a different place as well. See, that's moving twice as far along as well. Yeah, so it's now 4 across when it should be 2 across. So it's definitely a scale factor of some kind maybe that's going wrong. I keep thinking it's scale factor, but then why does this one work when the scale factor is only used for the line width? I don't know. We will figure it out another day. Hi, Inoperable. Cool name. Definitely going to call it a day now. It's been plenty of time. Thanks for the chats. Much enjoyed talking to you. Do follow me if you want to be notified when I go live streaming again. What day is it today? It's Thursday. The next live stream will be next Tuesday at 8 o'clock in the evening, 8 p.m. UK time. That's right. Thanks for the ratings as well. I think if I do this, yes, I got 2 ratings today. Excellent. And they were both 100%. Much appreciated. If anybody wants to rate me now quickly before I end, you can just type !rate followed by a number, a space and a number. And you can watch the videos back on Live Coding TV. I also stuck them all on my YouTube channel as well. So if anybody wants to look on YouTube and prefer that to the Live Coding TV viewer, or video viewer, then you can watch. I'll put this video up and the last one I made as well, fairly quickly, I hope. Sorry, yeah, just kind of follow up on the next stream. Excellent, yeah, do follow me, and then you'll get notified when the next stream is. But it'll be, like I said, Tuesday evening. That's right. Okay, thanks very much indeed, everybody. I will see you again soon. I'll hang around in the chat for a little bit as well if anybody's got any more questions. Just going to go back to the old intro screen. Cheerio, everybody.